Hello students, this is Dr. Ranjini, Assistant Professor in Biotechnology. Welcome to e-learning session in biomolecules. Today in this session we learn how amino acids are classified based on the polarity of the side chain or R group. In earlier session we have learned the classification of amino acid based on the necessity like essential amino acids and non-essential amino acid. Now we are learning classification of amino acids based on polarity of R groups. The side chain or the R group present in the amino acid has the tendency to interact with water at biological pH. Amino acid vary widely in their polarity from totally non-polar or hydrophobic R groups to highly polar or hydrophilic R groups. This classification emphasizes the possible functional roles which they perform in proteins. Based on polarity, amino acids have been classified into 4 groups. First one is amino acid with non-polar side chain. Amino acid with non-polar side chain or non-polar amino acids. Here in this category, amino acids are hydrocarbon in nature and are hydrophobic, and it includes alanine, leucine, isoleucine, valine, methionine, phenylalanine, tryptophan and proline. Out of 20 amino acid, proline or its hydroxy derivative hydroxyproline does not contain alpha or primary amino group. In fact, it is utilized in ring formation. Both proline and hydroxyproline have a secondary amino group, that is two carbon atoms attached to NH, and that is like 2 carbon atoms will be attached to NH. It's not NH2, instead you have 2 carbon attached to NH and they are substituted amino acid. Rest of the 19 amino acids are designated as alpha amino acids but not the proline. Some authors use the term amino acids for the proline and hydroxyproline, which is not correct because an imine is characterized by CH double bond NH, but our proline is having to the NH 2 carbon atoms will be attached. Since alpha amino group is not free and is substituted by a portion of its R group to yield a cyclic structure, reduces structural flexibility of protein due to rigid conformation. Moreover, proline does not give many of the characteristic reactions of amino acid test, which are generally based on the presence of unsubstituted alpha amino group. So that is regarding the amino acids with non-polar side chain. Next classification is amino acid with polar but uncharged R group. That is polar amino acid with no charge on the R group. The R group of these amino acids are more soluble in water, that is more hydrophilic than those of non-polar amino acids because they contain functional groups that form hydrogen bonds with water. This category includes amino acids like glycine, serine, threonine, cysteine, glutamine, asparagine and tyrosine. The R group of glycine, a single hydrogen atom is too small to influence high degree of polarity. Next, we will move on to the other group, that is, these are polar amino acid, but they have positive charge on the R group. These are polar amino acid, but they have positive oxalic acid. In other words, their side chain contains an extra amino group which imparts basic properties to them. This include the lysine, arginine and histidine. Next comes the polar amino acids with negative R group. So these are amino acid, they have one amino group, but they have two carboxylic group. They have one amino group, but they have two carboxylic group, due to which they carry the negative charge on the R group. This includes aspartic acid and glutamic acid. This includes aspartic acid and glutamic acid. So you have non-polar amino acid, the polar amino acids without charge, polar amino acids with positive charge and polar amino acid with negative charge. Next we will move on to the peptide bond. The amino acid units are linked together through carboxyl and amino group to produce the primary structure of the protein chain. The bond between the two adjacent amino acid is a special type of amide bond. It's a special type of the amide bond, in which the hydrogen atom of amino group and hydroxyl group of COOH group. Hydroxyl group of COOH group they join together and they combine and they form the water, and this results in a specialized amide linkage that is called CONH linkage. So this linkage join together many amino acid units, and this is called peptide bond, and this peptide bond results in the formation of the peptide where it links many amino acids. So here is the one amino acid and this is the another amino acid. They are having R1 and R2 as the side chain, and these two are joined together by elimination of water molecule, and they result in the formation of the specialized amide linkage that is called peptide bond. There is elimination of water, and this peptide bond is a special type of amide linkage that stabilize the structure of the peptides or the proteins. So this peptide bond it form a rigid planar unit. This form a rigid planar unit. There is no freedom of rotation about the CN bond. There is no freedom of rotation about the CN bond. On the contrary, the two single bonds on either side of the rigid peptide unit exhibit a high degree of rotational freedom. Each peptide chain is of considerable length and may possess 52 millions of amino acids. Depending on the number of amino acid molecules composing a chain, peptide may be termed as a dipeptide containing 2 amino acid, tripeptide containing 3 amino acid, and oligopeptide is made up of less than 10 amino acid. If it is made up of more than 10 amino acid, it is called polypeptide. The proteins or polypeptide with more than 100 amino acid, however, possesses a shorter individual name such as the glutathione, insulin, oxytocin, etc. Each protein differ in their amino acid composition and also in their arrangement. So this peptide can be represented like this. So at one end it will have the N terminal, on the another end it will have the C terminal. So this will represent the general structure of the peptide. There may be more than 2 or 3 or 10 or more than 10 amino acid which involve in the formation of the protein or the peptide. So this at one end it will have the COOH group at the C terminal, on the other end it will have the NH2 at the N terminal. So this peptide at one end will be having the NH2, on the other end it will be having the COOH group. So for protein, at one end there will be NH2 group, on the other end there will be COOH group. Suppose, imagine there are 3 amino acid which will result in the formation of the tripeptide having glycine, then alanine and serine. You have 3 amino acid, glycine, alanine and serine. So they join together by peptide linkage and they form the tripeptide. So this tripeptide will be named as glycyl L-alanine serine. It will be represented as glycyl alanine and L-serine. So usually the N-terminal residue is written first and the C-terminal residue in the formation of each peptide at the end. So it's a tripeptide having glycine, alanine and serine can be termed like glycyl, alanine, alanine and serine. So that is the representation of the peptide. If you just see the peptide bond, the stereochemistry of the peptide bond, all proteins are made up of amino acids of L configuration. This fixes the steric arrangement at the alpha carbon atom. The dimensions of the peptide chain are known exactly. The peptide bond, which is substituted amide bond, has the planar structure, The atoms within the plane are related to each other by bond length and bond angle that vary little from amino acid residue to amino acid residue. Only 3 types of bonds are present in the peptide linkage. They are alpha carbon to carbonyl carbon, alpha carbon to carbonyl carbon and carbon to nitrogen CN bond, and another one is imide nitrogen to alpha carbon atom. So CC, CN and NC. CC, CN and NC. The double bond character of CN bond limits the rotation about it. Only first CC bond and the NC bond, allow the rotation. The rotation angles establish the relative position of any 2 successive amide plane along the polypeptide chain. Hence, alpha carbon atoms can be thought of as the Scheibel centers for the adjacent amide planes. So this NC or the CN bond is rigid. There is no movement about its axis, but this CC bond and the NC bond allow the rotation, and the atoms are placed at the particular bond length and bond angle. So this is the stereochemistry of the peptide chain. Next we will move on to the chemical bonds involved in the protein structure. Cell can synthesize all types of proteins. The protein synthesis is a multiple dehydration process. The structure of protein can be written by linkage, linking the various amino acids by peptide bond. The structure of the protein is stabilized by various types of bonds. They are described as primary bond and secondary bond. They are described as primary bond and the secondary bond. This primary bond involves the peptide bond. This involves the peptide bond. The secondary bond involves the disulfide bond, hydrogen bond, non-polar bond or hydrophobic interactions, or the ionic bond. So the structure of the protein is stabilized by primary bonds and the secondary bond. Primary bond involves the peptide bond, whereas the rest of the bonds include the hydrophobic interaction, ionic interaction, hydrogen bond and disulfide bond will be put together in the secondary bond. So these bonds are further classified as the covalent linkage or the covalent bond and the non-covalent bond. The covalent linkage involves the peptide linkage, and the non-covalent linkage involves the hydrogen, non-polar and ionic interaction. The first we will take up the primary bond, that is the peptide bond. The principal linkage that is found in all proteins is the covalent peptide bond, that is the CONH linkage. It is a specialized amide linkage where C atom of COH group of one amino acid is linked to the nitrogen atom of NH2 group of adjacent amino acid, and it is a backbone of protein chain. The secondary bond, the most of the properties of the proteins cannot be explained alone by the peptide linkage, thus indicating that a variety of other bonds stabilizes the protein structure. These are called secondary bonds. That includes like disulfide bond. The disulfide bond, so it's a covalent linkage just like the peptide bond. So this disulfide linkage is formed between the two amino acid residues which are rich in cysteine residue, or sulfur containing amino acid will be linked together by disulfide bond, which is formed by the oxidation of the thiol or the sulfhydryl groups of this two cysteine residue to yield a dipeptide that is called as cysteine. So disulfide bond is formed between the sulfur containing amino acid, that is cysteine, in the proteins or the peptide, and they result in the formation of the cysteine residue. Next we will move on to the hydrogen bond. This bond is This bond is formed when hydrogen atom covalently bonded to an electronegative atom such as oxygen or nitrogen which is there in vicinity. This bond is formed due to tendency of hydrogen atom to share electrons with two neighboring atoms, especially oxygen and nitrogen. The carbonyl oxygen of one peptide bond shares its electron with the neighboring atom of another peptide bond. The strength of the hydrogen bond is only 5 to 8 kilocalories per mole and is maximal when the bond is linear. The hydrogen bonds of the peptide play an important role in stabilizing some conformations of polypeptide chain, example in case of silk fibrine and keratin of wool. The next we will move on to the hydrophobic interaction or the non-polar the bond. This non-polar bond is formed in amino acids like alanine, valine, leucine, isoleucine, etc. They have the side chain or the R group which are essentially hydrophobic, that is, they have little attraction for water molecule in comparison to strong hydrogen bonding between water molecule. Such R groups can unite among themselves with elimination of water to form the linkages between various segments of chain or between the different chain. So this hydrophobic interaction usually will be hidden within the structure of the protein. The hydrophobic bond plays an important role in the protein interactions such as enzyme substrate complex or antigen antibody interaction. Next we will move on to the ionic bond. So this ionic bond is formed between the charged ions. So the ions possessing the similar charges repel each other, whereas ions possessing the opposite charges will be attracted to each other. In proteins, ionic bond is formed by interaction between acidic and the basic groups of the constituent amino acid. Acidic means COOH group or the basic means NH3 plus. The R groups of glutamic acid and aspartic acid contain negatively charged carboxylate groups, and basic amino acids contain the positively charged amino groups in physiological pH. These amino acids contribute negatively charged and positively charged groups to the peptide backbone. This ionic bond may be intermolecular or intramolecular. Though they are weaker than hydrogen bonds, these are regarded as very important for maintaining folded structure of globular proteins. So in this session we learnt about the classification of amino acids based on polarity, the peptide bond, the naming of the peptides. We learnt about stereochemistry of the peptide bond, and we learnt about the chemical bonds stabilizing the structure of the proteins. I hope you understood this session. Thank you.